What's up, legends? Same clothes, haven't washed. We're back for the Dragons preseason analysis.
Speak for yourself, mate. I went and had a shower.
Oh, did you? You probably need to go again. It doesn't look like it. Don't even get me started on Brownie. He's got a few haircut again, another fade.
Oh, it's been like 5 minutes. What are you
Nah,
talking
it's been 20 minutes. You made us wait while you went and go and get shaped up on that haircut. Boys, let's go into the season schedule for the Dragons. Round 9 bye, no issues for me. You buy from the start of the season. They do miss the second major. I think round 15 is major now, and 19 is the last minor. So they do have a bit of interruption over the origin period, but to be honest, it's not enough to really turn me off them. They play 2 major buys, miss 1 minor, miss 1 major, which means they play the other major buys. And if you have the coverage and plan right to have those players covered over the origin period, you're fine. Dragons present so much value in so many different positions in 2026, and I wouldn't be looking to just offload them for coverage. Like, make the most out of these guys you can. And then even better, round 19 is their last buy, so you literally can invest from round 20 for the rest of the year. So again, not as strong a case as the Dolphins for complete season investment, but definitely right up there in terms of you can buy and own all season. Do you guys have anything different to add to that?
The same. I think if you're going to have them from the beginning is a good thing. Away, though, against the Bulldogs is hard. Home to the Storm, hard. And then it's away again, Eels, away again, Titans. So it is a pretty tricky start to their draw, just, with 3 away games. So just bear that in mind. Plenty of teams have done it well in the past. The only players that are really high on my watch list for them are their forwards. I think they've got plenty of value in their forwards. The backs, it remains to be seen. We might get 1 or 2 cheapies, but it is really going to come down to who gets named and what sort of a runway they might get.
Buying from the start, hold them all the way through. Playing that first major buy is going to be critical. Missing the middle one, obviously around origin time, it's going to be all right. But when you're saying about that away game, Kenzie, I can kind of take away from that because all teams are going to be playing away in Vegas. So I think all teams are going to be wanting to put in a lot of effort, obviously being on that international stage.
Sure.
Yeah. I think Dragons, Bulldogs are going to be one hell of a game. I think Dragons have kind of improved a little bit in the sense they've got Atkinson now steering that team around.
But that still remains to be seen too, though.
Yeah, true, yeah. Former Sharks, can't trust him.
Does he actually get to? Is it just in name, not deed? I don't know.
Yeah. I dare say he's probably going to get 2 touches of the ball all game, and Flanagan will be doing the rest.
We'll get dropped to reserve grade after 2 bad performances.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, look, the main highlighted players for me are going to be the forwards, as Kenty said, and we'll have to see if Farley or 2 gets that spot in the back line. I'm hoping it's going to be Farley, just because he shows a lot of promise. Good thing for everyone is that they play in Vegas. You don't have to worry about how that week 2 of round 1 is going to play out. Their team's going to be named straight away, and you can set your players straight in. So it's going to be good.
I think it's probably a good segue, Seto 2 and Farley for the back line, because that's really all they have in terms of fantasy interest for me, outside of the halves, but we'll move into Atkinson after. But Farley and 2, I like Farley because he covers the centre position, and we don't have any guarantee that Tom Chester is going to get that centre wing fullback DPP. So Farley is a very interesting watch for me, and someone that I definitely will have in my team if he's named to start round 1. On the flip side, winger fullback is also kind of awkward. And if I have Karaz and Herbie, I can always just throw Karaz in my centers to start and then throw the likes of Sedu too in my winger fullback. That said, Farley is also like a Chester. He will likely get winger fullback center DPP if he's named to start. Huge value there in DPP, considering I think you said on the Cowboys potty, it might have been, Kenty, that there's like 12 winger fullback DPPs and like half of them are halves, not even center DPP. So it's a very, very low landscape. And touching back on that too, you did say that mids and winger fullbacks are the most important position to have DPP coverage for because they take up so much space in your team. And I think that's just worth touching on again there. But you guys, in terms of 2 and Farley, do you have anything to add to that? I'll start with you first, Kenty.
Completely agree. I think you do need those DPP centre wings. I mean, you've got 3 winger fullbacks, just the same as you got 3 mids, and we always load up on DPPs that run across mid and edge. So I try and do the same for my wing and centres. So yeah, absolutely. I think any one of these kind of potential cheapies that are named in the game as a centre and get named as a wing, they're going to be just instantly into my team. They're just so low. They're priced at 19. So it's kind of like essentially just a no-brainer. However, I would caution not to go too crazy and overload, because we all know what it was like last year holding Yongi, and that was a really long, slow burn. It did kind of come right if you kind of were able to handle. I wasn't, and so I moved him on halfway through that pain. And really, he only kind of came good at the end of the season with the last six rounds to go. So they're not going to be a player that's necessarily going to get away on you too quickly. You know, it's not going to be a must-have. It's not going to be someone that you absolutely must jump on immediately because they're going to rush away from you. However, that being said, yeah, again, watching them in the trials is going to be really important, because we might actually find that the kind of role that they're playing or the way they're attacking with that particular player may mean that they make some really quick cash fast. It is worth really looking at those boys very, very carefully. And do they have those small skills that are going to be really good for us, in the sense of, like, how do they defend? Are they rushing up out of the line and become one of those ones that rack up tons of missed tackles? Are they really kind of putting in those big effort plays, which can turn into tries because they're following up players, they're kind of everywhere, they pop up everywhere? Do they come off their wing if they're playing wing? You know, all those sorts of things. I really look for that to see if I've got 3 of these types of players. That's how I decipher between the 3.
I like that. It's a massive breakdown. I like that. It's good. What about you, Brownie? You have anything to add there? I do have a little thing I'll touch on, but I'll give you a chance to actually speak with that new fade.
Thanks, man. No, Kenzie covered that really awesome. I mean, it's just going to come down to the fact that, like, how many do you get and who do you put into your team? We've seen 3 guys are fighting it out for that wing spot, so it's going to be between Sloan, Fale, and Tui Pilotu's in doubt for round 1 as well. So in Vegas, I don't think we're going to see a complete 1 to 5. So it's going to be all jumbled about. You're going to have to see who gets named on which wing come round 1, and it's just going to be a guessing game in a sense. I hope trials we just get to see a bit of promise out of our selections. At the moment, it's a guessing game, but hopefully we just get more clarity around that time.
So, hypothetical. If Farley does start on the wing, gets centre wing fullback DPP, Tom Chester does start in at centre wing fullback DPP, is that a case for removing the overspending to a degree, let's say on a Herbie Farnworth, because you've now got 2 cheap value centres that you can build on later? Or is the landscape change this year way too drastic, way too different, that you need that high level security in there? I think I'm more siding with that opinion than the idea of 2 cheap centers, because it's the Cowboys and Dragons we're talking about here, and the scoring of, say, high 20s, low 30s is decent enough for their value gain, because break even of 19 around 250k, they're going to make money. But in terms of your rank and your positioning, you basically murder that if you stick to those guys for too long, and there's no value in them to upgrade the likes of a Herbie. And if other people have got a Herbie Farnworth in your center pairing, and for, say, 6, 7, 8 weeks ahead of you, that point differential is going to be so hard to chase down in the middle of the year. So also,
I just don't trust brand new centers. I just don't. I would far rather trust, someone in the middle where there's just way more traffic. They've got their base is so much stronger. Even in a halfback is scary, but they're still better because their base is still so much bigger. So for me, I would be buying those boys, and I probably won't be necessarily that keen to be playing them straight up in my initial 17. I'd be trying to loophole and trying to bring them in if they go big, and then I can leave their poor score out if they bomb a particular game. Particularly if they do end up playing centre, where they could become quite a defensive risk and lose you lots of points, I would absolutely be putting them into a loophole.
I wouldn't buy too many. You have to solidify positions this year. I don't think you can just go 2 cheap centres At the moment, I have 2 cheap centers.
I
So
know. I was going to
I'm kind of
That
contradicting
was kind of
myself.
why I asked the question.
Yeah. Oh, boys, I'll have you know,
listeners, Brownie will be
yeah,
going straight
I
back to
just,
Herbie right at the end of
yeah,
this.
I've just put Herbie in my team now. But
Oh, just copy us again.
yeah, or like as you said before, when it comes to positioning, like Tom Chester's getting chucked into that center position, right? He's a natural fullback. Do I think he's going to have massive defensive lapses? Yes. Is he a big body? No. I can see a bit of attacking upside in his scoring, for example, and this goes for Farley and two as well. Obviously, we haven't seen much of them to any degree to lock in that, he's going to have some promise. He's going to gain heaps of value. He's going to do what they need them to do. Yeah, I just don't think you can overload on too many 250k cheapies. I think you can only select a handful and just kind of hope for the best, but don't overload in one position either.
And the way that I would suggest you look at it is like when we looked at Tamale the beginning of last year, he had that extra edge. He could break tackles. He was really hard to put down. There was something extra about him and his play. And so you could back the talent because you knew that he's going to start racking up missed tackles and potentially tries assists. Those sorts of things were going to come where when they're not big bodies, they're not tough in the contact, I start getting a bit worried.
That's why I love Makasini for the Tigers.
Yeah. And Setutu is very much like that too.
He is like a Brian To'o 2.0. Breaks tackles, powerful. That already indicates to me a lot of promise. If he gets a lot of ball, value is just going to climb. So that's what I agree.
Yeah, and they don't really need much at that price point. You know, it's like one try, you've got a 20 plus, and there you go. There's 30k this week. So it doesn't take much at that price point to make money.
Jed Stewart.
Yeah. Nathan Lawson. How good was he? Oh, God. No offense, Nathan Lawson. Maybe great bloke, maybe a great actual player, but in fantasy, you killed me last year. Moving into half, I think it's an important one here, Daniel Atkinson. I have simmered on interest in him big time. At the start of the season, I was very high, and then they went and gerrymandered all the prices. So I thought he was coming in less than 300k. Here you go, bang, come from the Sharks playing off the bench. He's going to start in halfback, guaranteed value. Then they moved him in at 400k, and I was like, not that interested anymore. Then took the app away again and increased it to 450, and I just went, yeah, go, and you just made all your money in app updates. It's like, see you later. I'm not interested anymore. First of all, with a half, you need to have a dominance in terms of base stats. He needs to take over the kick. At 450k, he needs to be the main kicker or could potentially kick goals. Let's say if Holmes is injured, he was sometimes a goal kicker for the Sharks. But again, that's not something you're walking into. And you're playing in a Dragon side that doesn't really have the best history of attack within the last 10 years. If he is going to present any decent value, you have to see a case for him making it to 600k price point. And I don't see that happening. So it's like, see you later. Not interested. Do you guys have anything to add there? I'm off him big time. It's not in my team.
Yeah, way off. Not even on a watch list.
Yeah, same.
I think he'll be sharing too many duties with Flanagan.
Nepo baby.
Yeah, 100%. Well, let's get into the guts of this now. I think their forward pack has so much value. Now, I'll breeze over some, like, say, potential fringe guys. We got Jacob Hallengaau. Gao. I don't know how to pronounce his last name properly, but
Hallengaau, I'm pretty sure. Hallengaau.
Yeah, so he's on the fringe kind of look around. You got Ryan Couchman, who did his ACL at the start of last year, who was literally starting prop. There's a use case for him. Loco Pacific Tonga had a lot of experience last year coming off the bench. There could be an environment there where he has increased minutes. But the real big ones here for me are Dylan Egan, Hamish Stewart, Toby Couchman, and Damien Cook. They're the big four that I am really, really considering. So before we get into those guys in particular, do you have anyone else you want to throw in that mix?
I am kind of interested at the moment. Again, he's a watch list guy, but Leilua, he was given huge instructions by the coach. Sort your body out, lose a bunch of weight, and go hard during the off-season. I don't know if you guys have seen any of their kind of off-season training vids and stuff. He is shredded. He looks completely different. To be honest, to start off with, I didn't know who it was. I didn't quite recognize him.
It's Joey Leilua.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, firm avoid.
Yeah. I think he's coming with a point to prove, and that's something that I look for as part of their role. Like, have they been given a new role? Have they been given extra motivation? And I think he's going to be coming hugely motivated. Kind of similar to what happened with Christian on the wing last year, where he was kind of told, look, you got to produce, you've got to do this, got to do that, and he did. Before he did his hamstring, he was scoring tries. He was, spinning money. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar with Leilua. I'm not suggesting that he's above any of these other boys. I just think keep him very much in your watch list and when you watch them play as a potential pod, because he could be very interesting. Price at 32. If he gets a decent role, he could make some pretty quick cash. And he may even become one of my first burner players that I'm looking at a 3 to 4 week play to just make some quick cash.
I actually called out Luciano Leilua as a potential watch pod last year. Did not go well, but he was also built like a gym ball, and he's not like that this year. So maybe he's a bit better off.
Yeah, it'll just be interesting. And I'm not saying jump on board. I'm just saying keep an eye out, because I do think there's a world where things could change. Yeah.
I don't know. I think both him and Sua, if they're starting on the edge, I think they both play 80. Because I think the bench makeup, because obviously barring Jacob Little's fitness for round one, he's pushing to be fit.
Yeah.
But bench makeup, I can see it being Little, Pacifica Tonga, Kerr, probably Ryan Couchman. Well, I mean, they may carry Halangahu on the bench as well. So
yeah, that's really what's going to come down to is who are their bench players.
Yeah.
And if Halangahu ends up on the bench and then is robbing minutes, then it's probably not a go. But
yeah. But then once again, if Little's out for round one, it's kind of like that guessing who of
exactly
who's going to lose minutes round two.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that risk factor there again.
Agree. So just keep an eye out is all I'm saying.
Yeah. Avoid Dragons Folds altogether.
Yeah.
No, don't
he needs to play 80 to be a viable selection too for 30K. He basically sits at a decent scoring range if he plays over 70 minutes at about 40, 42, 44. That's where he sits. He has the potential to move up into the 50s and the 60s, has the occasional chance of moving into mid 30s, but it's still above where he's priced at 32. So I think he needs to be 70 plus minutes every single week. And again, it's not something you're ever going to be able to forecast until you see a rotation and see that he's doing it. So you're probably going to have to lose, say, 70K in potential value to get that guarantee, which would then push him up to, if he's not playing 70 minutes, he's not a buy because he'll need to be in the 40 range.
Which could easily happen if he's coming off the bench. You could lose a whole lot of cash and then get rotated in if they're really happy with what they're seeing.
That's true. I want to touch on the Hamish Stewart, Damien Cook scenario. I think this is a very, very interesting area because we've got no Jacob Little early. We don't know how long exactly he's going to be out. I think we're going to see Damien Cook play that 40 to 50 minute hooker role, and then he's going to move into the minutes that are vacated from Hamish Stewart at lock. He's going to play that same positional rotation we've seen play out for like the last 6-7 games of the season, where Damien Cook's average is absolutely insane playing that role. But he's also got a great role when he plays big minutes at hooker. So my interest here is Damien Cook at 600K playing basically 80 minutes of hooker to start the year until Little comes back, then reverting into that hooker lock rotation. Damien Cook's really high on my list, and he's currently only 0.84% owned, which is insane. So he's someone I'm strongly considering. Moving into the Hamish Stewart part of this equation, he's probably going to play a 50 to 60-minute role as opposed to that 40 to 50-minute role he played when Jack de Belin was there. So now that Hamish Stewart does, on the surface, look like the starter, I think that there's a great case here for Cook and a great case here for Hamish Stewart as potential buys in your squad to start the year. What's your take on that?
It's too risky. Because I think if Little's going to be out, it's only going to be out for round one. Because then he has that second week to rest, and then obviously it's into round two. What I kind of picture happening is Stewart gets a 45 to 55-minute role because they have to now delegate minutes between both Couchman brothers, Gula, Kerr, Little, Pacifica Tonga. I don't know how that's really going to equivalent. I think Toby is the main man. I think he's probably going to play about between 60 to 65. Stewart, for me, is around 40 to 55 minutes. If I'm going to keep him in my team, I want to see in trials that he plays a good amount of minutes. If you're picking him on the basis that he only plays 45 to 50 minutes, you're going to get a little bit of value, but not much.
Though in saying that, he's basically a PPM guy.
Yes.
Basically, point per minute. So even if he's going to end up with 45 and I'm running him as like my bench mid and he's priced at a 33 and I'm getting around a 45, I'm pretty happy for that. That's upwards of a 10-point boost, anywhere between, hopefully you'd be getting minimum 80 to 100, 120k growth in him. So that really works. And I guess it also comes down to how you set up your forwards. If you're expecting Stewart to be sitting there as your starting mid, I would have concerns. Exactly what you're bringing up, Brownie. But if he's sitting there as my bench player, I've got my mids kind of set up differently, and he's not sitting there as full cover. I'd actually be real happy with that.
He does have a 5-game sample size at starting lock in 2025, where he played between 44 minutes, which was his lowest, and 60 minutes, which was his highest. Only 2 games under the 50-minute mark, 3 games, 60, 54, and 52 minutes for an average of 50.2. PPM of 0.97. So as you said, he's basically scoring a point per minute. There's no Jack de Belin now.
No,
so like
right.
if you remove Jack de Belin from that equation, my brain is thinking this. It doesn't really matter whether Little is there or not. If Little's not there, that's a big plus for Hamish Stewart. He's going to play more minutes, nearly guaranteed. If Jacob Little is at hooker off the bench coming on for Cook is going to play the minutes that Hamish Stewart doesn't play. And I think that's where you're looking at that 50-minute mark, is because you can't play Damien Cook for 60 minutes and then say 20 minutes for Jacob Little and push Cook in for those 20 minutes to cover Stewart. How I can see the rotation happening is Cook will start, play the first, say, 30 minutes of the game. He'll come off, rest until the end of the first half. As soon as it gets to within the first 10 minutes of the second half, he'll then spell Hamish Stewart and play the rest of the game at lock. And I think that dynamic for Hamish Stewart is less profitable than it is without Little. So without Little, Stewart is going to score better, but I still think he's going to be of value without it. And then going back to that Cook scenario, which is kind of a part of this as well, is Cook played 80 minutes in 2025 for 10 matches, most of them towards the back end of the season. So 18, 23, 24, 25, 26. In these games where he started at hooker and played a mixture of lock and hooker, he never played a game under 70 minutes. He averaged 55.4, currently priced at 47, had scores of 69, 70, 66, 61, 68, and 60 in that 10-game sample size.
Yeah.
So like I don't even know why I have not got Damien Cook in my team right now as a lock for the entire season at hooker. Like, he beats Brendan Smith. He beats Chris Randall. He beats Reid Marnie, beats Bailey Haywood. And he's under the cost of the likes of Blake Brayley, Harry Grant, and you got value there. I'm actually now going to change my team to put to book Cook in. Without a doubt, he is now in my side. I've changed my whole perspective on him. But I guess, do you guys have anything to add to that? We kind of went on a bit of a tangent there. Hey, talked a lot about Cook, Stewart, bloody Leilua and his abs for 2026. There's a lot going on.
I don't mind him, man. It's just the fact that it's start of the season compared to the back end of the season. Something definitely changed. If they bring that same team dynamic, I can see why people are going to jump onto him. I don't have him currently in my side. I'm going for a Jake Simkin at the moment, hoping that he plays 80 minutes. But okay, the more I look at it,
it's good, isn't it?
I just see a lot of green on that NRL Fantasy stats.
Bro. I can't say no to him now. And I think the fact that he is so low owned and no one's even looking at him, it's not like we're going, oh, no one knows if Cook's going to play. Everyone knows Cook's going to be starting hooker. So, like, why aren't people giving him more love? I can guarantee now, after I've said it publicly, 0.8% owned.
Yeah, it's really small
right now. What the hell? Dude, he should be up there around the 20% mark. And I'm buying him right now. I'm going to move him into my team. Stuff this.
Oh. Well, here's one for you guys. Mammozelos is at 1%. So more people own Mammozelos than they do Cook.
What the hell? Does that happen to Cook that we don't know about? I'm just freaking talking out my ass. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what they end up doing. The problem is that we're not going to see it until round 1, because you're not going to see the proper forward rotation in trials. You're just not going to. They're going to be putting Couchman on ice. They're going to probably play Stewart way more minutes. Stewart will likely suck enough coaches into thinking that he's the big dog. I do think that then you also won't see Damien Cook at his full rotational minutes either. Basically, what you're doing is you're kind of going off past plans that they've gone through, and basically kind of you're going to be betting, and maybe he's kind of like your one guy that you're going to bet the house on to start him from round one. And there's something to be said about that. I do that every year. I kind of have one player that I'm really kind of just as a gut play. And it doesn't really matter because ultimately if they go gangbusters, you got a lead on everyone else. And everyone else has to essentially spend 2 trades to get that player. And he's just that little bit out, being a 630 player, he's not going to be an easy player to move in if then suddenly he goes gangbusters. But say he bombs and you look at it for 3 weeks and then you go, I need to move him. It's only one trade. Yeah. And it's 630 to play with. Maybe he's lost a bit of cash. So let's say at worst he's 550. In the year of the mid-ranger, 550 is mint. You're flush and you've got a lot to play with. So if this is a gut feel and a gut play betting the house, I reckon do it.
I love these podcasts, but I hate them at the same time because I've just cleared my team and I'm going through it again. I'm like, I'll get Herbie back in. I've got Cook at hooker now. Oh, yeah.
But guys, remember, I'll be the voice of reason here. We have a month.
We do. Yeah.
We've got so much time. And it's these types of conversations that are really good because then you need to go away and have a think and not just react. Think about your makeup. I'm actually just putting a article together right now about creating a balanced round one team. And exactly what Jai just said, if you've got more than kind of 3 of any one team, you're now out of balance. But in saying that, if you know that you are, and you're looking at a team that doesn't have a bye to round 9, you can be out of balance for best part of 2 months and not get stung. So it's why I'm saying if he's your one guy that you're going, right, I am taking a punt here, then do it.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Kenzie. Thank you for bringing me back down to earth.
Quickly refresh. Give my team back.
Yeah. I've just cleared it again.
So I think the last one we got to touch on here before we wrap the Dragons up, Toby Couchman. Now, I'll turn to you first here, Kenty, on Couch, because you always have quite a good opinion on rotations and structures, and I haven't heard much on the Couchman narrative from you yet. But what's your take there on Toby Couchman for 2026?
He's in my team. 2 main reasons. When you're looking for value, you're looking for players who you know that can do it and can show you what they're capable of. And we all saw that he was basically capable of being a 60s player. We saw that over quite a long sustained period of time. Injuries and that main injury that kind of ended the season obviously wasn't ideal. But the way he started the season, I kind of am similar about him as I am Huss. Huss starts absolutely raging, and I'm expecting to see Toby do the same. And so I feel like if I'm going to own him at any point of the year, I want it to be from round 1 to really make the most of that and to make the most of the price rises, because he did end up finishing just under a 55 average from last year. He's priced currently at a 51. So I can see a world where he can easily pop up to late 50s to a 60s. So there's quite a bit of growth there still to play with. He's meeting other areas exactly what I'm looking for, which is DPP. Basically, also, we know the type of play in his scoring profile. So we know that he can score really well through his defense. We know he can score really well through his running game. Yeah, for me, he's in at the moment. I have been tossing up between him and Yo to basically help lead that sort of early investment in mids. So I do go pretty heavy investment into mids and edges. Yeah, man, he's a lock for now.
The story here is, do we see him playing prop? I think he's going to play prop.
Yeah.
You can't really see him anywhere else.
Too many edge options, bro. They're not going to waste any edge.
Yeah. And but there's a story here where I think could happen is he could play lock. I don't see that that's completely out of the equation, and maybe Hamish Stewart continues coming from the bench. I don't think that'll happen, but I think it's probably worth putting out there. But if he plays prop in 2025, he averaged 55 minutes playing from the position. Mind you, when he injured himself and he was out for the rest of the year, he played only 24 minutes, which is deflated.
And that stuffed it. Yeah. And at that point, he was up over a 60 average because that final game he was at a 26.
Especially if you have, say, Ryan Couchman, Pasifiki Tonga on the bench, Gula likely starting with him. I don't see him really playing any more than 60 at a max.
But he only drops 2 percentage points in his output when he goes to second row. Like he drops to a 56.7 for a 69, 54, 47. So if he's going to get used kind of similarly, yes, please. Ultimately, you're still not losing.
It just seems his usage is always up. Like wherever he plays, he's always in the thick of it. So that's what you want to see.
He's super defensive heavy. I think that's where once you start isolating to a real deep level on NRL fantasy stats, you can kind of start to create a picture that may not necessarily reflect true performance. But I've got him down to a 3-game sample size here, playing at prop, 49 minutes, 51 minutes, 56 minutes. So more of the range I think he'll play within this year. And he has scores of 69, 44, and 62 for a 58.3 average. So although this is a very small sample size, if that's where we're going to see him this year, he has roughly about 7.3 points in value for someone that's priced under 700K. He's got every chance of pushing up into that mid 800K bracket. And we all seen this coming last year. Like it wasn't like he stagnated at 720K. He got injured with a break even less than 30. And then some people held him, some people got rid of him. We all tried to buy him back. He got injured again. Like that's the reason why he's priced so low. In reality, if Couchman plays a full season as he was playing last year, he's 850K player without a doubt. Yeah. So I think he's definitely someone you need in your team. In that prop range of 52 minutes in these 3 games, 1.12 ppm. Yeah. That's freakish. Yeah. So he's not someone I started this season without.
And he has the role, and what that sort of looks like is yet to be defined, but I don't think that kind of matters with him. And also one of your key things is looking for your PPM. And honestly, he's got one of the highest from last season. There's not too many people that were as good as him. And really the only other one that I can think of that we were all super excited about was Colin Matangi for a similar amount of time as well. And ultimately for Toby, it came at the start of the season. I do see that that's where he's going to be his freshest. For me, I think it's kind of a no-brainer to start with him.
For sure. Do we know if he got the surgery on that shoulder as well?
Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah,
you got to clean out. You got to clean out in the off season.
Yeah,
sure. That's good. And he would have had that whole off season and now the preseason really resting it and prepping it for the new year. So he could very well be fine now.
And touching on Brownie's point, which I think is absolute gold, and I think listeners need to really take that again, is that concept of we're going to know TLT for them. And if he's starting way well ahead of the rest of all the other players in our side, so we can kind of quite comfortably go, yep, he's getting named, he's starting, he must be up to scratch. So let's name him.
But have you guys ordered your wooden spoons? Yeah.
Is this for fantasy? Do you still have yours or?
Well, no, I actually called Paulie G a couple of hours ago just to talk to him about like the fantasy landscape and rankings for 2026, and he goes, Blindy, my bro. No stress.
I'm done.
I've already ordered you the trophy.
This is when I wish we just had that fader that we just slow.
Too bad, I'm controlling it, baby.
I reckon you should insert an anus over your face at the moment. You're just talking out of your ass.
Well, I could just put a Warriors jersey over my face. That'll work the same as anus.
I love how I have a shot, Kenzie, but then he just turns it on you.
I know.
I've got to aim at someone. Kenzie's too nice, but then he plays so smart. He just waits for a moment where you're vulnerable, hits you with it. It's like, nah, all right, I'm going to get Kenzie at every shot. I don't care how evil I look. I see more behind the scenes than anyone else will.
Remember, I'm the strategic guy, so of course I'm going to play it like that.
All right, I guess let's wrap it up, fellas. Make sure you follow Brownie's Breakdown, Kenty's Market Moves, and Blindside NRL on Instagram. Like, follow, comment, subscribe on YouTube. I'm still getting used to all of that kind of promo stuff at the end of a video. But, And again, with all of our preseason videos on YouTube, when they post, I'll be in the live chat constantly the whole entire time. So jump in, ask your questions. I'm watching the video live with you guys as it premieres. So, thanks heaps for joining us. And I guess we'll see you guys on the next one.
Up the wires.
Up the storm.
He hits it.